Okay, first we're going to start with Councilmember Kubosh.
Mayor, I move to suspend the rules to move our tax assessor collector, Mike Sullivan, to the top of the agenda to speak to us, and to be second and an order by Tamara Bell.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Is there a second? Second. Any objection? Hearing none, granted.
Okay, the first speaker is Mr. Mike Sullivan, to be followed by Mr. Merrill Bell. And these are for 3 minutes.
Mr. County Tax Assessor Collector, it's good to see you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We don't owe you, do you? We don't owe you anything.
No, sir. No, sir. In fact, I probably owe you some money.
Oh, well, take as long as you want to talk then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was elected Tax Assessor Collector 3.5 years ago after serving 5 years as a Houston City Council member. Had that experience that I want to talk about today. Besides collecting for Harris County, I also collect for the City of Houston, our largest client, Houston ISD, HCC, and about 70 other jurisdictions. But while I'm the Tax Assessor Collector, I don't set values or appraisals. It's important to note that nothing could be further from the truth. My role as assessor is to take the HCAD certified roll, apply all appropriate exemptions, and then apply your adopted tax rate and mail out the bills. Then I collect the taxes and transfer them to you, the City of Houston, on a regular basis. I think that some of the discussion here last week inferred that I'm part of the problem with property tax refunds for commercial properties. And let me address that. I have to approve and pay all legal refunds. I'm required by law to do that. I don't get to choose who gets a refund. As Mayor Turner said last week, these large commercial refunds are the result of litigation, which means a court either ruled or approved a settlement. I have to emphasize that I'm processing refunds when a court tells me to. And if I don't process those refunds in a timely fashion, I have to pay interest penalty, which comes out of both of our pockets. I also need to point out that for every refund dollar returned in the City of Houston, that's a refund dollar returned from Harris County and every other jurisdiction that I collect for. You see, Mayor, we're partners in more than one way. When collections are strong, we both benefit. Right. When collections fall, we both suffer. And being a longtime advocate for the taxpayer, I realized when I took this office that there was a dearth of information on how homeowners could protest their appraisals. I set out and conducted annual tax workshops throughout the city and the county. Matter of fact, I partnered with schools, universities, pardon me, neighborhood centers, and others just to put these workshops on. I'm proud to say that we've gone from 12 workshops a year to 20 workshops this year throughout Harris County and the city. As you'll see on my handout, these workshops are all over the county and in several city council districts. Now, I suspect when I leave here, 3 or 4 of you are going to call and say, why isn't there one in my district? Call me. We'll get it on the calendar for next year. We're happy to go where we're requested. We hold these workshops during the day, in the evening, and on weekends, and they're in both Spanish and English. And I also conduct an annual workshop for nonprofit organizations so they can be sure they have all the exemptions that they're entitled to. That came out of a meeting I had with Kirby John Caldwell, who we all know and respect, who didn't have all the exemptions that he was entitled to. We worked with HCAD, facilitated 3 meetings, signed all the documents for him to have his exemptions on his property. His tax burden was reduced. I'm proud to say that. I've also passed around a copy of my letter to the editor from Sunday's Houston Chronicle. In it, I describe how taxpayers can protest their appraisals in light of the recent flood and how they could even qualify for a payment plan.
Thank you, sir.
Hold on one second.
Expired.
Councilman McChristie.
If you'd finish that last sentence, and then I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir, Councilmember. I have 2 sentences. Forgive me. I will send a detailed process report to Mayor Turner next week about the flood and the possible reappraisal and payment plans that are available to flood victims. Very, very important. So in summary, I'm here to help homeowners, always have been and always will be. But first, let me say, foremost, that I'm here to collect 100% of your taxes. Thank you, Councilmember. Thank you, Mayor.
Still with Councilmember Christie.
My question, Mr. Sullivan, I made a suggestion a few weeks ago, and what was the cost to losing these lawsuits, Mayor? $7-9 million or something?
The cost of the tax refund for the city was $32 million, a little over $32 million.
So with that in mind, and you put the appropriate area that it's not your fault or anything. Would it not behoove us to join in with the appraisal district, hire the meanest, nastiest lawyers, and fight for these appraisals that, from what I see, are just, but you are overwhelmed with high-priced, out-of-town lawyers for out-of-town corporations that are battering down these appraisals. If you're talking $32 million, you can pay a pretty good dang salary to lawyers. What do you think of that idea? And maybe joining with the county and such and share this bill and beat the people that are pounding us for tax dollars.
Sure. Councilmember Christie, thank you. Mayor, we all know it's, as you said last week, it's a loophole in the law that allows corporations and property owners, any property owner, frankly, to file suit. First thing they do is go to the appraisal review board, make their case. If they don't like that, then they go to district court and file suit. What I've seen is that most corporations in these Class A office building suits don't even go to the appraisal district, the ARB, they just immediately file suit. And what happens is you get 1, 2, or 3 years in a suit together, and then that triggers, pardon me, the very large refund, which hits you strictly straight in the pocketbook. Harris County is affected by this, just as every other jurisdiction is.
Hold on. Councilmember Edwards.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. I think there might be also, just to address one of my colleagues' concerns about that, there may be some issues relating to the ability of the Jackson jurisdiction to actually join in those types of lawsuits. So I think that would be a reflection on maybe a modification that needs to come forth from Austin potentially. But in addition to that, with the refunds that have come online, I have seen it in instances in which we have worked out settlement agreements, coordination with the tax assessor, not necessarily the city of Houston, but other jurisdictions is what I'm referring to, where they've worked out arrangements where they've prolonged the payment or the repayment of those refunds so that it's not just one lump sum payment. In a year like this for the city of Houston, where we're facing a $160 million shortfall, that would have provided some relief. And so I would love to see some coordination between the tax assessor's office along with HCAD and the city of Houston in terms of working out when we do see large settlement payments becoming due, then how can we work out arrangements where those payments can be due in a period of a couple of years or 2 to 3 years instead of just one lump sum?
It's nice to see new blood at City Council and in the mayor's seat and to have innovative ideas like that. And to the extent that the property tax code would allow us to do that, I don't think Harris County would have an objection. Certainly not my call to make, though.
1 second. Councilmember Borkins. Because, Mike, can you tell us approximately how many of these lawsuits are in the pipeline, remain in the pipeline?
Mayor, I'd like to get a report back to you next week that would be specific, if I could.
Yeah, I mean, the information I have is that we're talking literally hundreds that are still in the pipeline.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I look forward to sitting down and working with you and talking with you, especially as it relates to people who are affected by the flood and how they can address their own appraisal when it comes after they've gotten their appraisals from the Harris County Appraisal District.
Right. Yes, sir. Mayor, if I could, just for a second, appraisals are on the street. They've been mailed. Jurisdictions will set the tax rates after HCAD certifies the roll late summer, and I'll start sending bills out first 2 weeks in November. So that'll be the time. Right now I'm publicizing the workshops, and those are the dates and locations. You have them in front of you. We passed them out. Then we move into educating the public about payment plans during November, December, and January when those bills are due. And that's a perfect time for us to hit the public.
Thank you so very much. I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you, council members. Appreciate the courtesy.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.